Well, hello. I am recording this without any audio from the game in the background because this was a unusable video that I recorded with a friend. I guess I call this one sour grapes because I guess it is sour grapes. So, the situation is I want to be able to play this game with somebody. It seems like a fun multiplayer game, right? And me and my friend, psychomantis, we're just going to call him psychomantis, we're trying to play this game. We've tried to play this game so many times, but we're not able to, how do you say this, see eye to eye. See, he has this preconceived notion that I'm trying to become an eldritch god that can smite any boss with one hit. And he says that I'm not playing the game for a story, that I'm playing the game to game the game. Which, I mean, he's like, I guess, like 5% right. It's a game, and I know that if there's a game, there are exploits, and you can exploit the exploits. Who's going to stop you? So, yes, I do some exploity stuff. So that's kind of a thing, but it's not really that serious. So the problem is the way he plays the game, he plays it like a Bethesda game. And Bethesda games are like Rockstar games, or games where you look under every rock and you look behind every blade of grass and you shake every tree and talk to every person, and it will enrich the story even though it is a side quest and is not the main quest, right? He's never actually beaten Skyrim. He's never killed whatever the name of the Dragon Lord is. I don't even think he beat any of the DLCs because he gets so lost in the world that he's not that the end result to the game where you're supposed to go to this point and do something, he doesn't do. He just quits playing the game and moves on to something else entirely. Right? It's like adult onset ADHD for video gamers. I mean, if I was to put up some of the video from last night, which I quit recording, we were 6 hours in, and we weren't doing anything. As you see, if I play this long enough, which I can actually just fast forward what's going on in the background, you'll see that I actually create a character. And after I create the character, right, this is me creating the character, giving it a name. This is 18 minutes into this video, by the way. I'm waiting for him to create his character, right? And I'm just going to sit here in the background. It's not pause. This is real time. I'm going to go back and change some more stuff. And I'm just going to wait for him for like 20 minutes. Like, it is ridiculous. Like let's see. How long does it take? 24 minutes. 28 minutes. 32. I changed the hair color of my character. 40 minutes. 45 minutes. We were in character creation for him to create his character for 50 something minutes. It's like ridiculous. I think you could see it on the screen, so that's really cool. But yeah, I was just waiting for him, and at this point you'd be like, don't start the game up until you guys are actually in it. But this is the meandering that happens. Like, I'm not a religious person, right? So people can like boo-hoo me, but when I mention like souls and stuff like that, it's not that I'm like, I'm a good God-fearing Christian man. I'm not. Right? So he had an incident. Psychomantis had an incident a few years ago, and it most likely resulted in brain damage to the point that he's not the same person that he was, and then he went to hell for about 6 years. And he clawed his way back out of it, but in the process of him doing that, He's not the same person. He's been ripped apart so many times and glued himself back together that he is a completely different individual. He used to deal with confrontation differently. We used to be able to come to a agreement or an understanding when we had a debate about things. At this point, we don't have that anymore, right? I suspect that he wants to play a game with me that I am not good at, so he can be better at the game than me. But that's just my petty insecurities, right? So, like, I don't quite know what he wants to do. He can't, like, he has compulsions in his gameplay in which he's just like, I have to do this way, and if I'm not doing it my way, then I am not having fun. Meanwhile, I am wasting my day off trying to record with him and trying to have fun with him, and I am just whittling away at so much time, right? So, like I said, sour grapes. I sound like a bitter person, and you're not getting his part of the argument. I would like to give him, like, benefit of the doubt to argue back with me, but he just keeps saying the same thing, and I guess I keep saying the same thing because I'm trying to explain it to him, and he doesn't understand it, and I don't understand what he's saying, right? I think what his whole answer is you want to play to be strong, right? Now, we're playing in Tactician or Honor mode, and he's like, we shouldn't be trying to be the best at combat. And I'm like, if you're playing for a story, play imbalanced, right? The reason why you're going to play imbalanced is because combat's not going to be that hard. You don't have to be a savant to be able to win the game in that, vein, right? However, he wants the difficulty to be ratcheted up to the highest setting, and it doesn't affect the story. Your rolls don't have to be higher, right? And I find myself, when playing a game with him, finding myself with nothing to do. Because if I start doing stuff that I would like to do, he just kind of falls apart. He doesn't want to, I guess, deal with it, or he's like, you're just rushing through everything. And it's like, we can do everything at a different pace. We don't have to do it at this laborious pace. But he's like, you're just trying to run to get this, to get that, to get this for your build. And I'm just like, no, not really, right? I've figured out ways to put together a build without having to rush to the Underdark to get the Pira de Luve or whatever the name of that sword is, and then do bard stuff and make yourself stronger. Like, I'm not doing that, right? I tried playing a sorcerer, and I needed to get like a staff to increase my damage output, so I wasn't like such a weak character in the grand scheme of things, and he did not like that. So then I'm like, I just have to wait until you get to this point, and then I have to race you to try to get the item, or else you're going to put it in your bag of holding, and I'll never see it again, and then I'll just keep on struggling in these combat scenarios. Right? And I know, like I said, I'm being bitter and all the rest of that stuff, but, like, I would at least admit that I'm kind of hurt that we can't put together a solid gameplay and play it and win, right? So I played an honor run, right? I am in Act 3. I could theoretically beat the game, right? I'm not max level or anything, but there's enough stuff to do in Act 3 that I should be able to make it up to level 11 or level 12 so I can beat the boss, right? The only reason why I haven't done it is because I was hoping that me and him could make it there, and we could both learn this magical town in, like, wonderment, right? Unfortunately, that's not what's happening, right? Number one, he doesn't want to exploit anything, so he thinks that using withers to bring ourselves back to life, and retreating from combat scenarios when we can is cheating the game in an honor run. Typically speaking, I can only generally control one other character while he controls two characters. Last time, this game, as you'll see, I'm going to give him 3 characters, and he enjoyed that more because there was less that I could do. Right? I could not walk off and end up in a combat scenario and win. Warlocks are bad in this game. I wrestle with it really hard because I like Warlock, but you're just, every build is the same build. Eldritch Blast! Right? And when it works, but when you're missing, holy crap, it is bad. Right? This is the character he took like 2 hours to make. Right? He changes it mid-video too. So here's my thing. I want to be able to, do a role play thing. Because here's this thing. He's like, I'm just going to follow you and hate playing the game because you do stuff too fast. I'm like, dude, do your thing. Right? I let him do his thing. Right? I failed at the brain part because he could have gave me guidance and I didn't ask for guidance. And I missed by like 3 points, which guidance probably would have gave me, but probably wouldn't have because it is a dice roll. And it's not a hard 4 points, but it is what it is. Right? So... the fact that I can play with other people, like I got like coworkers that I play this game with, and it's easy for us to play, but it's not easy for me to play with him because they know what they want to do. They're like, I'm gonna go into town. I'm not messing with the kids. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. Let's save this grove and let's move. Right? Completely respect that, right? Having a decent strategy to be able to play the game at what I would say a pace in which it is entertaining for people to watch, which I haven't mastered that. Nobody has watched any of my other Baldur's Gate videos, so I don't know why anybody would watch this one, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm going to try to play it with a single character with one save in custom without actually doing it on honor mode because I want to play with balanced difficulty, but I want it to be one save because that's actually possible and that's good. It keeps you from save scumming, right? So it gives me the finality of if I get into a combat scenario that I'm not good enough to win, I have to start over. I like that. I do. I would like to do that with him because even without legendary abilities, you can't beat the dice. And he got mad at me today because he thought I was saying that he was, for lack of a better word, mentally challenged because he thought that I didn't think that he knew how dice worked. And it's not that I don't know that he doesn't know how dice work. It's just you can't say you can be a god character in this game when you could miss every attack. There's the possibility that even though you have a 95% chance of hitting somebody, you can miss the attack. Because that 5%. It's wild. It's absolutely wild. So, I don't know how else to say it. I don't want to be a rage monster. I just want to enjoy a game with my friend. But my friend seems to want to play Sonic 2, and he wants to be Sonic, and he wants me to be Tails. And Tails can't go off the screen. Tails has no agency in Sonic 2 other than being somebody who can die and come back to life in order to help Sonic defeat villains in certain levels. Because sometimes, some certain levels, you're moving too fast. Right? So, yeah. What I'm more accustomed to doing is, like, and I'm a Sega guy. Like, I loved Sega until they went under. But Mario 3 or Mario World, where you guys take turns doing stuff. I like that idea. If he was like, I want to go do Withers, and I'm like, cool, we'll go do Withers right now the way you want to do it. And he's like, what do you want to do? I want to go to the Grove. And we go to the Grove. And then we kill the things there and we go into the grove. It's like, what are we going to do in the grove? Well, I'm going to let you do a couple of side quests, and then we're going to go talk to Korga and try to save the girl. Right? I'm totally okay with discussing that. Right? But he wants me to pretend like I have no idea what's going to happen. He wants me to be just a bright-eyed, like, gibbering moron, like, oh my god, this land is so beautiful. I gotta look in every container. Maybe something good will be in there. Type of person, right? And I know that most of the stuff that you're picking up off the ground is garbage, right? In D&D, you'd be picking up, like, work to make money, but we have illicit tadpoles in our brain that threaten to eat our brains, and if you don't know what's going on in the story, your thought would be like, if we don't get these things out, my face is gonna blow into tentacles and I'm not gonna be me. I'm going to die, because that's what it is to become a lithid. You die. It's like an alien face hugger that just, yeah, that's what it is. It's basically aliens, right? Maybe one thing existed before the other, yada, 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 H.P. Lovecraft stuff, whatever, right? The idea that I have with this game and the way that I want to be able to play it is, if you want me to role play a character, right, I have to run my character to you, through you, before I confirm my character, because I'm a warlock. Right? And as a warlock, I chose to use a demon as a patron. Right? So that means that I am willing to do anything for power, including cheat people out of money. Right? He doesn't quite understand that, because I tried to explain it to him. I was like, yeah, sure, I can do this. And to be honest with you, I know the glitch, and I could do it in a way that he doesn't see me doing it. I just went overboard because I was just like, yeah, what else am I going to do? Having extra money so I can actually buy the stuff in these guys' inventories is important to me. Plus, I needed to be able to buy a bunch of Hill Giant Strength potions. But he picked up everything. I mean, everything. Let me show you what I mean, because I can fast forward it. I know. Let's see. Are we off the Nautiloid yet? Okay. So, let me fast forward. By the way, we're not off the Nautiloid. It's been like an hour and 44 minutes. Right? Hour and 50 minutes is about how long it took to get off of there, right? We got to defeat these brains. He's going to get Astarion. Okay. I went to go get Lae'zel. At this point, his character is encumbered because he's been picking up everything. He's not splitting it among his characters. He's not sending it to camp. He's holding everything because he doesn't know that I can't touch it inside of his storage. He doesn't understand that I can't go in his storage. He can't go in my storage. That's the thing about this game. You invite goblins into your game, guess what happens? They can take all of your stuff, put it in their storage, and leave the game, and you'll lose items that you can't get ever again. It's actually ingenious. It's very trolly. But if I think I had to do it in the next video, because it's like, I gotta cut this short. I can't have a 2-hour video of us doing nothing. So I started recording again. So essentially, let me rewind this some so you guys can see just how long everything seems to happen. So he goes to the beach. He picks at every corpse, right? 1 gold here, a rotten fish, rotten eggs, perfumed letter, right? So he's doing that, and I'm like, well, I could try to fight these brains by myself, but I'll probably lose, right? So here it is. I'm like trying to... This is all I could do, right? I can't really do anything, because if I go into this fight with the brains and I die, Well, we're too low level to be able to really. I guess if he had a scroll to revivify, he could bring me back. But I'd just be laying dead on the ground until he actually comes in and saves me. Right? So I don't know. Maybe, just maybe, when playing this game with him, I have to. Well, I can't play it with him. We just had this knockout, drag out fight where we weren't even playing it, right? I didn't even mention to him. I'm like, dude, I watched this video, and I'm telling you, it is the most boring thing I've ever seen. And I make these boring videos, but at least I'm actually making the attempt to do stuff while making the boring videos. And here I just had to sit and wait for him to pick every grass and go in every pocket and all the rest of that stuff. And I could have said, hey, I can do an exploit that can make us money so you don't have to pick up everything. You only have to pick up important stuff that I can't just buy. And he would be like, don't do that because that's cheating the game. It's not D&D. And I'm just like, they don't give you enough money. You don't get money for completing quests. So we need money, capital, to be able to buy gear so we can do what we want to do instead of murdering everything we come across and then selling their stuff for like 5 gold. We're selling swords to these guys for 5 gold that if you take a rest and you come back. And yes, by the way, the video is still going on. It is not paused. This is how long he's taking to do the beginning area. Every time we start a new game, it is a 2 to 3 hour like endeavor for us to even get to like Astarion. So like I just don't know. I don't want to sound like a monster because I do feel like I sound like a monster, and then boom, I tried to hit it with an Eldritch Blast, and he walked into So yeah, I don't want to sound like a monster, even though I am sounding like a monster. I wish that me and him had the same relationship that we had like not 5, but like 7 years ago, where we could, in theory, both play this game and it'd be like, I'm gonna do this and you do that. For some strange reason, he wants to play this like we're playing a tabletop version of D&D, where the party has to stay together at all times and we can't go anywhere. And if I could just tether my character to him and then just jump in for the fights, I would play Dead Space on my PlayStation until he gets done picking through a town. You see what he's doing right now? He's just trying to sneak around with the character outside of combat. And he was doing this every combat scenario we were in, making the battles last so much longer than they should. I don't know, man. I don't know. He has a way that he wants to play. He said that if we had 4 players, it'd be different. I don't think it would be different. I think that me and 2 other guys would just rip through all the content that that he could do, and he would get frustrated. And if he was the host, he's gone. The whole game is gone. He's deleting the game, right? And we would just have to start a brand new game. Like, he doesn't understand that. He thinks that if we have more people, it'd be different. But it's so bad that he's been trying to get his girl to play the game with him, and she doesn't want to play it with him because he wants to play it a specific way, in a way that's so not fun to her. She could be doing anything else. The same thing for me. I would be like, yeah, I don't want to play it the way you want to play it. Like, my whole idea, like, because I wanted to try to learn, was to give him access to 3 characters. This would shore up his weaknesses and should help him out. It would make him better in combat, right? Unfortunately, it just meant that combat scenarios that were outside of our level range were impossible to win. We fought this null thing for like 3 straight hours, kept reloading, right? Because I clearly was too stupid to save right before the fight, and then like I casted a spell that I did not know was affecting the battle. And when I used another spell that broke my concentration, we got wiped out, right? My bad. I didn't know. I didn't know how close his characters were. I just knew where my character was in correlation with everything else. And we lost that fight. Well, technically we didn't. We could have survived it, but he wanted to start over and we started over. So, and I have like a super headache talking about this because it like frustrates me because I want to have fun while playing this game. And I'm 100% sure it is possible to have as much fun as you want to while playing this game. But I don't want to be handcuffed in the same way he doesn't want to be handcuffed to me going like, okay, we've done this 25 times. But also, if you watch the rest of this clip, right, there are 2 spots that can spawn rare loot right after this fight, right? I'm going to try to jump up there to get one of the spots, and he runs up there and he grabs it, right? And I'm like, all right, I would have to jump up the other one to try to get to it before him to get it. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. He jumped up there and got the other one. We didn't discuss it. We didn't talk about it. Like, any of that stuff, right? It's super annoying because I would love to be able to, like, share information. Like, here's the thing, right? If you have 2 weapons that you can dual wield, you'll use your action and your bonus action when you're attacking. It'll do half damage unless you level up and you get the dual wield ability. The dual wield ability makes you deal a lot of damage. It lets your weapons deal the maximum amount of damage from both offhand and main hand. This is something I found out while I was playing with him, which I didn't quite find it out. I kind of knew it, but I could tell him, hey, you could actually get the most out of your action economy by doing blank. Why in the blue hell did I give him a weapon that he was like, oh, thank you for this weapon that's decent, but you got it in an exploity way? And I'm like, okay, well, you picked up every weapon in the game so far, so I have to get a weapon to use or I'm not going to have a weapon. But you see what I tried to do? Tried to jump up there and look at it. We're racing up here, and he immediately goes, bloop, and he goes in there and he takes everything out. So I just jumped down, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And then he's going to go to the other side to go grab the other thing. I pick this up. And then I leave so he can loot everything over here. Only for me to try to figure out how to get past Astarion so he can take Astarion. And then see that Wizard's Bane oil? That came out of the other chest that was up top. Or the Mind Flare. Right? So, I don't know, man. I really don't know. So, yeah, I went on a long rant. Kind of gassed out. I just want to be able to enjoy this game with somebody that I know and like have an adventure, right? I have to play something that is weak enough that I cannot impact the game at a high enough level to be able to do anything, because if I let him do everything he wants to do, then, because here's what I'd do. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I would use a warlock to make money and then put the money up, right? Because I need enough money to buy the infernal whatever stuff so that in Act 2, I can build those gauntlets for monk, so I have a decent weapon that deals necrotic damage and I think fire damage or whatever it does, or whatnot, and then I'd be fine, right? There's a body piece that I had to buy before Act 1 is over with that gives me higher dexterity and all that other stuff, and I would use Hill Giant strength potions to make my monk better. There. That would be fun for me. Unfortunately, this guy doesn't want to do that because it's not fair to the game to exploit them for money. I get it. I do, but it's also not fair to the other people that you're playing with to take everything. Right? I did find some thief's tools I didn't really need, but I could have sent them to him, or at least Astarion afterwards, but what could I do? What can I do? Well, I guess this is my little rant. Nobody's going to watch this video, especially him. He's going to see it and he's going to be like, oh, he's just been bitching about me for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, I did, but I felt like I needed to get this off my chest. In a way, well, 30 minutes, jeez. In a way that I needed to. Like, it's cathartic to be able to do this. And the fact that somebody might be able to see the video and just be like, I got a friend kind of like this or similar to this, and hear what they got to say about it, right? He'd be mad about what I just did there, right? Because it's a part of the story. You talk to it. No, it's a mind flare. It essentially wants you to give up your brain to heal it. It eats your brain, and then it gets up and does more mind flare crap. You kill those things, right? But, yep. I think I'm done ranting. I mean, it's been, what? Feels like hours. We were playing for over 8 hours, and now I'm gonna probably end up deleting that playthrough because I don't think it's even possible for us to play again. And why keep it if he can never play? So, well, I'm done with this. Be easy. Watch out for riptides.